Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Sky Cinema. It's time to celebrate the very best of UK commercial radio news with the IRN News Awards 2020 in association with Sky News. Now, please give a warm welcome to Sky News presenter, Burley.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2020 IRN News Awards in association with Sky News. Obviously things are a little different this year as I stand alone at Sky Cinema, but it's important to share the joy and reveal the runners-up and winners so that you can bask in the glory from the comfort of your own home. These awards are all about you and the amazing work that you do every day by bringing national and local stories to your listeners, which this year will have been harder than ever with teams being split up and working remotely, as well as distance and contact restrictions. But despite this, you continue to deliver world-class news on a daily basis, which is something that you should all be proud of. Of course, this will make for an even more competitive 2021 award, so brace yourselves for some stiff competition next year. Joining me this year is the virtual voice of Howard Hughes, alas, pre-recorded from his home studio. So let's get the ball rolling with our first category, Newcomer of the Year. Let's listen to the up-and-coming talent in commercial radio today.
Newcomer of the Year, Vicky Smith, Global's newsroom, Yorkshire and North East.
Do you think there's a kind of safeguarding issue?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody can see it, then you're opening the gates, really, the floodgates.
The rates pages are when students send a selfie to accounts and then people comment and give them a rating. The trend's popular with year 7 and 8 students who are between the ages of 11 and 13, even though the age restriction for Instagram is 13. Getaway Girls is an organisation in Leeds helping young women.
I am 13.
I'm 15.
I am 15.
I'm 13.
We held a forum with the group.
Fraser Knight, Global's newsroom, Scotland.
There were some supporters in there cheering, but it was mostly made up of protesters booing his arrival. But that didn't dampen the spirits of the Prime Minister, who waved and smiled as he walked along to greet Nicola Sturgeon. They stood on the steps outside the front door for a very brief handshake as crowds continued to cheer and boo, one side much louder than the other.
We are not leaving! London voted Remain! We are not leaving!
But the PM says his supposed unpopularity in Scotland has been blown out of proportion.
Helen Hoddinott, Free Radio.
I was found later that night stumbling and screaming outside my halls. My phone, my ID, my debit card and my student ID were all missing. My tights were ripped and I was violently sick and shaking after having been drugged.
Abby's a student here in Birmingham. She was on a night out back in December when her drink was spiked. For 4 hours, she has no idea what happened to her. But afterwards, she felt some people blamed her for becoming a victim.
It would appear that the onus is on the victims themselves.
Daniel Bevan, Global's newsroom, Wales.
I am now in the middle of the homecoming for the Big Green Blow that is taking place between Castle Street and the City Hall. Most of the people here are in party mode. Think an Olympic closing ceremony on a much smaller budget. You can tell the people here in XR are celebrating what they've achieved. With regards to what's going on today, what have you got to celebrate?
We've got both Wales and England to declare there was a climate emergency, which is a start.
Emily Hume, Global's newsroom, Northwest.
So I'm just getting up my Instagram, I've gone into the search button, typing in lipstick knives, search. So it brings up lipstick, hidden knife, red, 2.75, blade, self-defence, shop now. There's literally pages and pages of accounts with them. It's pretty shocking.
So I can go into the internet and buy a lipstick, and when I twist it, there's no lipstick in it, there's a knife.
Kay, who is the runner-up?
The runner-up for Newcomer of the Year is Fraser Knight from Global's Newsroom Scotland.
Scotland's heart.
Fraser is a top-draw storyteller who mixes enthusiasm and compassion to bring difficult issues to his audience. His empathy in talking to LGBT people in care homes who feel that they've been forced into returning to the closet in old age shone through. He demonstrated excellent field reporting skills at big events and showed a fabulous sense of humour engaging with listeners in Glasgow. Fraser is a high-performing, all-round journalist with a great future in front of him. Congratulations to the runner-up for Newcomer of the Year, Fraser Knight from Global's Newsroom Scotland. Now let's find out who the winner is. Kay, the results please.
Your 2020 Newcomer of the Year winner is Helen Hodinott from Free Radio.
This is Free Radio.
Helen demonstrated a real flair in her broadcasting, producing an impressive range of stories, including an investigation into students being attacked on their way home from nightclubs, and a clear explanation of a Brexit vote. That's no mean feat. Helen's delivery is confident and descriptive, using sound bites to maximum impact and allowing audio to breathe. Some very good digital content showing Helen is just at ease in front of the camera as much as behind a microphone. Your 2020 IRN Newcomer of the Year, Helen Hodinott from Free Radio.
Our next category is all about journalistic endeavour, getting stuck into a story and telling it in an informative and engaging fashion. Let's listen to our nominees for the hotly contested Best News Special or Feature.
Best News Special or Feature. Sierra Leone, where death often follows birth. Premier Christian Radio.
1 in 17 mothers in Sierra Leone have a lifetime risk of death associated to childbirth. I want to find out why. After an aeroplane trip and a boat ride to the capital, Freetown, I'm ready to begin my journey that will take hours to the village of Nyandehun Besima. And being pregnant myself, I want to prepare myself.
Investigation into school isolation booths. Bower, Yorkshire.
Imagine spending your whole day at work today in complete silence. You sat at a desk in a booth, surrounded by walls, with your back to everyone else. You can't stand up except to be escorted to the toilet, and at lunchtime you'll eat your dinner in the booth. If you break a rule, which could be yawning or sighing, you'll spend the next day in the booth too. MPs say this isn't the kind of place you'd expect to find a child.
We wouldn't stick an animal in isolation for extended periods of time.
Gateshead, drugs and deaths. Metro Radio.
Paramedics worked on her body for 2 hours before declaring her dead. She was only 30. She left behind a 10-year-old daughter and her mum still struggling to come to terms with what exactly happened.
She was like a tomboy, not a pick of bother, until she hit comp. She was like, he's staying out late and what have you, normal teenager.
Was that like the start of the worrying for you as a parent?
Yes, it was. And the late nights as well.
Surviving Medhamsley. Global's Newsroom, Yorkshire and North East.
There was a fight I lived in a little town, it had a cobbled street, and the pubs were closing and there was a bit of a ruckus going on the street. A window got broke, somebody put their hand inside the window and threw chocolates all around to the crowd that were watching. And I had 3 of them in my hand when the police turned up. So I was arrested, charged, put in court and sent to Medhamsley.
Gary McKevitz was just 17 when he was locked up in the notorious detention centre for handling stolen goods.
Kiss Life. Let's talk about Kiss FM.
Back in the days, they'll just try and aim for your leg and stuff. Now they're stabbing people in chests, next to their heart.
When you carried that knife, where did you get it from?
Just got it from the kitchen, to be honest. Just saw it in the kitchen. And I thought, yeah, I'm not trying to die for no reason. I'm not trying to die. If I know he's going to kill me, I need to stab him first so I can run away.
MK was 12 when he started carrying a knife.
Very impressive, Kay. But who's the runner-up?
The runner-up for the Best News Special or Feature is Kiss Life. Let's talk about from Kiss FM.
Kiss.
A very well-presented concept exploring a range of relevant and relatable topics with strong case studies and including an exclusive interview. Very to the point without patronising the younger audience. An excellent feature worthy of recognition. The 2020 Best News Special or Feature runner-up, Kiss Life, Let's Talk About, from Kiss FM. But now who's the winner of the 2020 Best News Special or Feature?
And the winner is Investigation into School Isolation Booths from Bower, Yorkshire.
The biggest hits, the biggest throwbacks. Hallam FM.
A great original journalism investigation, supported by strong case studies and highly creative use of audio and interviews. Well scripted and beautifully crafted, using lots of production techniques and tools. The judges particularly liked the way the feature was versioned for each of the 3 local Bower stations in Yorkshire. The 2020 IRN Best News Special or Feature winner, Investigation into School Isolation Booths, from Bower, Yorkshire.
Our next category is the Campaigning Journalism Award. Let's find out who our nominees are.
Campaigning Journalism Award. Mental Health Monday. Lost Childhoods. Radio City Talk.
We have got a special that marks the start of Children's Mental Health Week. We're live from the steps of the iconic St George's Hall in Liverpool city centre. In front of me, we have laid out more than 200 pairs of children's shoes. Each one of these shoes represents a child or young person who is lost to suicide every single year. The latest stats that we've been shown at Radio City Talk suggest that the number of young people lost to suicide between the age of...
Some veterans are still fighting for their lives. The Wave and Swansea Sound.
We're on a mission here at Swansea Sound, putting together a special event for veterans in South West Wales. If you are former armed forces, work with, support or help, or want to become a veteran-friendly organisation, our day at the Liberty Stadium next month is for you. One of the first to sign up was Neath Talbot Council's Communities for Work Plus project. Andrew Pearce explains what they do.
We're out in the community helping everyone in the community with employment support, offering them help with training.
Lead the Way. Change Scotland's dog laws. Radio Clyde.
Our reporter Natalie Crawford's been invited to Holyrood to present the evidence she's gathered in her Lead the Way campaign.
MSPs will be hearing evidence from myself and the parents of children who have been attacked by dogs, in some cases sadly killed in attacks. We're going to be telling them whether or not we feel the current legislation is working and local authorities aren't taking their responsibilities seriously.
A Life with Lipedema. Free Radio.
A medical expert in Birmingham is warning that a condition which causes millions of women to quickly put on weight could put lives at risk if it's not treated seriously. All this week we're investigating what's known as lipedema. Our chief reporter Megan Jones has more.
Yesterday we heard Clodagh's story. She's just 20 and for the last 2 years her legs, thighs, bum and stomach have rapidly begun to swell.
The homeless charity that became homeless. Downtown Radio and Cool FM.
Over 100 people, including myself, wrapped up to take part in the Sleep Out at South 13 in Belfast to help raise funds and awareness. And it was a rather eye-opening event, as I found out.
It's just coming up to 12. We're all tucked in for the night. You can really start to feel the cold hitting in. Just gone past 2 o'clock. I am absolutely freezing. Can't get comfortable, can't get to sleep. 5 o'clock in the morning. It's your broken sleep that really gets you the most.
Very impressive, Kay. Who is the runner-up?
The runner-up for the Campaigning Journalism Award is A Life with Lipedema from Free Radio.
This is Free Radio.
An issue that's not widely known about, and this campaign certainly put this debilitating and distressing condition under the spotlight. The judges liked the originality of the cause and the fact that not only were they looking to raise awareness, they called for more NHS funds to deal with lipedema, because that would bring demonstrable results. The entry demonstrated that the station had signed up to the idea, and the presenters and reporters talked with commendable frankness. The 2020 Campaigning Journalism Award runner-up, A Life with Lipedema, from Free Radio. But now, who's the winner of the Campaigning Journalism Award?
And the winner is... Lead the Way, Change Scotland's Dog Laws, from Radio Clyde.
The biggest hits, the biggest throwbacks. Clyde 1.
This was superbly executed campaigning journalism at its finest, from idea to outcome. It was the clear winner in this category, and the judges were impressed by the originality of the concept to protect people from dangerous dogs, to how they sought to use FOI to build their case, got the whole station on board, and ended up in front of the very people who could change the law. It was an excellent title to head the campaign with a simple, clear aim. This was a lesson in how to use radio and the reach of their station to really make a difference. The 2020 IRN Campaigning Journalism Award winner, Lead the Way, Change Scotland's Dog Laws, from Radio Clyde.
Moving on to the best sports coverage of the year. Let's hear the nominees.
Best sports coverage. Scottish football, the highs and lows, Clyde 1 and Clyde 2.
Celtic are once again telling fans to follow their advice after two supporters were stabbed outside a pub in Rome late last night. A small group of Lazio ultras targeted the Flan O'Brien. Dennis Conley from Kilmarnock was there when they appeared.
About 15 fellas, maybe 20 fellas turned up last night with kind of masks on. Next thing you saw, it was like a penknife. Stabbed the guy in the leg. Obviously the fella come inside, the shutter get drew down, and next thing these fellas outside, which were obviously fans of the opposite team, they started battering the kind of shutter door.
Game day exclusive, Talk Sport.
You could hear cheering, Eagles, Eagles, Eagles. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Wonderful from Son, wonderful. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. A full-time whistle has gone, and Aston Villa are back in the Premier League.
Leeds United Centenary, Radio Air.
There's been a huge party to celebrate Leeds United's 100th birthday.
Kind of emotional because all my family's been Leeds fans since the very beginning of Leeds United, so to be here at 100 years is a special moment. Yeah.
I'm from Norway myself, so I've been following Leeds since the 70s.
All my life, most of my dad's life, most of my granddad's life, I suppose, it's 100 years.
There's just a sea of white shirts filling the square with kids with their faces painted, grandparents waving their scarves.
Global's Northwest sports coverage, Global's Northwest newsroom.
I think we will do it today, but it'll be a tight one. I think Liverpool will win as well.
Liverpool come into the final day of the season knowing the destination of the title is out of their hands.
We've got to hope, haven't we? Got to hope. There's nothing else we can do. It's in their hands.
City are the 2018-19 Premier League champions, the first club to retain the title in 10 years. Unbelievable! Over the blue moon.
Yes. Done it again.
Absolutely superb. Never, ever, ever any doubt in them boys.
England's tour of the West Indies, Talk Sport 2.
Last night, Hassari Joseph's mother passed away. Hassari, well done. Obviously an incredibly difficult last 24 hours for you.
Yeah, it was hard, but I just had to put that aside and, try to do my best and play the game hard for her. That's all I had to do.
I was going to say your bowling today must have been for your mother, really.
Yeah, I really dedicate this game to her, and I thank the guys for all the support they gave to me. The guys are really behind me today, so I thank them for all the support they gave to me.
So, Kate, who's the runner-up?
The runner-up for the best sports coverage is... Game day exclusive from Talk Sport.
Talk Sport. An entertaining and unique way of building up to a busy day of Premier League action with insightful, interesting and fun interviews and packages, giving their listeners more than the average pre-match information. With excellent production values, a variety of voices, as well as use of music and commentary, this entry was a brilliant example of how to bring football coverage to a wider audience. IRN Best Sports Coverage Runner-Up, Game Day exclusive from TalkSport. Now let's reveal the winner of the 2020 Best Sports Coverage. Kay, it's over to you.
And the winner is Global Northwest Sports Coverage from Global's Northwest Newsroom.
An excellent entry from a team that clearly knows its audience and proves you don't need rights to cover sport in an engaging and informative way. There was a huge variety of stories, angles and colour demonstrated. To cover such a large patch in a way that stands out from the crowd is a credit to the team and a good example of why local radio should still cover sport. Winner of the IRN Best Sports Coverage, Global Northwest Sports Coverage from Global's Northwest Newsroom.
It takes more than just asking questions to be considered for this next award. A great interview can be the key to a great story or feature. Let's listen to this year's nominees for Best Interview.
Best Interview, Surviving Medhamsley, Global's Newsroom Yorkshire and North East.
It was widespread knowledge that people were getting sexually assaulted. One of the worst incidents was one night, one lad couldn't cope. He was in the bunk above me and he slit his wrists. The lights were out, so nobody knew. But I knew something was wrong because he wasn't crying. And he cried every night. And then I felt dripping on me.
One mother's harrowing tale of her son's involvement in County Line's drugs gangs. LBC.
He's spoken about sexual abuse.
Against him?
Yeah. He's also spoken about how, you know, when he was in a trap house and a drug addict was the one who gave him a blanket and I wasn't there to help him. You know, just saying, Mum, you weren't there, like, where was you? It's your fault you didn't help me.
Boris Johnson interview. Talk Radio.
And on Brexit.
And on Brexit. We will, of course, be pushing our plan into action.
So we understand.
And getting ready to come out on October the
31st.
31st, correct.
Come what may.
Come what may.
Do or die.
Come what may. Do or die. Come what may.
Plan A is to get an agreement that's better than the current one, you've said, and to get out on October the 31st. Now, if that's blocked by Parliament, blocked by MPs, blocked by the European Union, what is Plan B?
Well, first of all, we need to get rid of this current withdrawal agreement and get the best bits in it.
A mum left behind. An MDMA story. Paul Doward for Radio City.
The doctors just said that they're going to stop working on her and that to give them a little bit of time to make her look decent, so I can go in and see her and say goodbye. So I went in and she just looked like a sleeping beauty. She looked like she was asleep, you know, just so peaceful. I wanted to hold her, I wanted to put my arms around her, but they were saying you can't touch her, she's evidence.
President Trump, an LBC World exclusive. LBC.
You've probably personally had more tough press and perhaps unfair press than anybody else alive. Do you feel a bit sorry for young Meghan, given what the press are saying about her?
Well, I've been watching her interviews and I've seen it, and she's taken it very personally. I guess you have to be a little bit different than that, but she takes it very, very personally, and I can understand it. But I don't know her. I will say I met Harry. He's great.
Okay, the talent is evident in all our nominees, but who's the runner-up?
The runner-up is A Mum Left Behind, an MDMA story by Paul Doward of Radio City.
Radio City.
The judges were all haunted by the agonising description of the final day in the life of Ebony Cheshire. The reporter had clearly won the trust of Ebony's mum, Kerry, and no one who heard it will forget the death of her sleeping beauty. The 2020 runner-up for Best Interview, A Mum Left Behind, an MDMA story by Paul Doward of Radio City. Now let's find out who our winner is for IRN's Best Interview. Over to you, Kay.
And your 2020 IRN Best Interview winner is... Boris Johnson interview by Ross Kempsell of Talk Radio.
Talk Radio. The winner set the agenda. Do or die was something Boris Johnson didn't want to say. It became a pledge that haunted the Prime Minister as the deadline of October the 31st came and went. As well as this news scoop, the interviewer also managed to reveal another aspect to the Prime Minister's relationship with buses. It completed a brilliant interview. The winner of the IRN Best Interview, Boris Johnson interview by Ross Kempsell of Talk Radio.
OK, next is the Student Journalist of the Year, supported by the BJTC. Let's hear the nominees.
Student Journalist of the Year, supported by the BJTC. Kirk Asiedu, the University of Northampton.
Craziness, violent, delusion, and forgetfulness. These are all words associated with the mental disorder dementia.
It's very challenging to care for your mother because obviously when you reflect back on it, she's the person that actually taught you how to read, how to write, how to eat yourself, how to eat for yourself, and you're having to sort of guide your mother through.
Hannah Makepeace, the University of Sheffield.
The van's just pulled up outside and two young lads have just got out the back and been brought in. Tell me a little bit about why they've been picked up.
There's been a large group causing antisocial behaviour on the estate.
And what's going to happen now?
Contact the parents, get the parents down here, and then we'll speak to them in front of the parents, and then hopefully they'll go home and they'll stay in for the rest of the evening.
And I've heard another two are on the way. Are you expecting this to just keep going like this?
Yeah, I think initially probably will do until probably they get the message that we are taking people off the streets, we are taking them here, and we're going to keep them here until parents are involved.
Joshua Zitzer, City University London.
That's the sound of me having a panic attack. I've been having them for a significant portion of my adult life. Strangely enough, I've realised over the years that I'm not the only one in my family who's experienced them. My mum has often tried to calm me down by reminding me that she's also no stranger to a panic attack. But even more significantly, my late grandmother Marlena also suffered from debilitating anxiety throughout her life.
Amelia Beckett, the University of Sheffield.
Since it began, Streetwise has helped 9 in 10 performers improve their mental well-being. This simple step can lead to bigger life changes and even help people out of homelessness.
I'm Caroline. I've been with Streetwise for about 3.5 years. For me, it's really helped me with my mental health and anxiety. Singing, it just takes me away from the dark side.
Gianni Marini, Glasgow Caledonian University.
Well, local council does. Maintains things.
Looking after the community really and making sure that everything's kind of running as it should.
Well, it looks after all the local services, cleansing, libraries, education, social work, environment.
Bins. Do you want the sarcastic answer or do you want
the honest answer?
What do they do? Very little.
Very little.
Very little.
As always, Kay, who is the runner-up?
The runner-up is Kirk Asiedu from University of Northampton.
Kirk really took the judges on a journey as he explored an often told story from a new angle. The examination of dementia in Africa was beautifully put together with music and interviewee clips, bringing together bags of atmosphere, tragic tales, and a glimmer of hope. IRN Student Journalist of the Year runner-up, Kirk Asiedu from University of Northampton. Now let's find out who is the winner of the 2020 IRN Student Journalist of the Year.
And the winner is hear it for the girls. Amelia Beckett from the University of Sheffield.
An extremely talented journalist who demonstrates expertly written and edited packages. She has a great interview technique which allowed her to challenge a controversial interviewee in a non-aggressive way and get the best out of them. The IRN Student Journalist of the Year, Amelia Beckett from the University of Sheffield.
Right, that's the first 6 awards down and just 7 more to go. Don't forget to share your good news on Twitter using the hashtag IRN Awards. This next award is used to recognise those who bring a little something extra to the reading of the daily news. Let's hear the nominees for the Newsreader of the Year award with a TSA of under 1.5 million.
Newsreader of the Year for stations or hubs with a TSA of under 1.5 million. Alex Brooke, Revolution 96.2 FM.
Oldham sixth form students quizzed the Tory and Labour secretaries for Brexit after they paid them a special visit yesterday. James Cleverly, Tory party chairman, who'll also be responsible for Brexit if they win the election, told Revolution News that apart from prioritising leaving the EU, the Conservatives will also look to try and invest in the future of young people.
But we also need to make sure that we...
Charlotte Foley, Viking FM.
You're waking up to some breaking news this morning. Boris Johnson is back in number 10 as the Conservatives have won the general election.
Not just to get Brexit done, but to unite this country and to take it forward and to focus on the priorities of the British people and above all on the NHS.
Meanwhile, Jeremy Corbyn says it's been a very disappointing night for Labour after it lost seats in areas which backed Brexit in 2016. He says he won't lead the party into another election but will stay on to oversee a period of reflection.
John Callan, Radio Forth and Radio Borders.
First tonight, are Scottish football fans safe at matches? A new report suggests not.
Safety certificates that aren't specific about how many people should be in the ground, selling too many tickets for a particular game, unsafe temporary seating.
Deputy Chief Constable Mark Roberts highlighting some of the biggest concerns from his review into stadium safety in Scotland. It was ordered after a crush outside Celtic Park 6 months ago.
Paul Kelly, West FM.
Just 2 main stories to bring you this morning. Coming up is our exclusive interview with a former Bowhouse prisoner who says he didn't think he'd make it out alive.
Granted you're a criminal, you're going in there to be punished, but you don't expect to fear for your life.
But first, police investigating the disappearance of Kilmarnock woman Emma Faulds have made an arrest. Neil Murray can tell us more.
Polly Bayfield, Free Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Polly Bayfield on the very busy Longfellow Road in Coventry this morning, which a year ago today was the centre of tragedy. 2 little boys, Corey and Casper Platt-May, woke up thinking they were going to go to the park with their mum, only to be killed by a speeding driver. Well, their aunt, Chelsea, was there when it happened.
I ran over to Corey now. I had Corey in my sights and I was trying to...
Kay, who is the runner-up?
And the runner-up is Charlotte Foley from Viking FM.
Viking FM.
Charlotte reads with calm authority and well-measured pace. Engaging and authentic interview clips are at the core of her bulletins, which are structured in a creative way using actuality and sound effects. She's versatile and has a direct style of delivery, making her a strong runner-up in this category. Runner-up for the Newsreader of the Year award with a TSA of under 1.5 million, Charlotte Foley from Viking FM. Now let's find out who the winner is for the Newsreader of the Year award with a TSA of under 1.5 million.
The winner is Polly Bayfield from Free Radio.
This is
Free Radio. Polly has a natural authority and engaging delivery, making her the standout winner in this category. She combines powerful and emotive audio with creative treatments and is equally at home reading bulletins in the studio or on location. Above all, she's what we're looking for in a winner because she doesn't just read the news, but is an exceptional communicator. The winner of the IRN Newsreader of the Year award with a TSA under 1.5 million, Polly Bayfield from Free Radio.
OK, next up, it's the award that recognises the larger faction of the TSA, the Newsreader of the Year award with a TSA of more than 1.5 million. Let's hear the nominees.
Newsreader of the Year for stations or hubs with a TSA of over 1.5 million. Rebecca Cook, Global's Newsroom Scotland.
From Global's Newsroom at 7, Transmit Festival's been brought to a close with the latest round in the spat between Lewis Capaldi and Noel Gallagher playing out on stage. Lewis walked out in a Chewbacca mask after being called that by Noel, who also labelled Scotland a third world country. But the Scottish singer told us that wouldn't stop him teaming up with his hero.
Oh, I'd love it. I'd love to just me and him get in there. I mean,
Victoria Glover, Hits Radio.
Today's the day that kids love but parents dread.
Oh, the thought of World Book Day, it drives me crazy every year.
More on that in a second, but first, what a night for the red half of Manchester. United are through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League for the first time in 5 years.
Go on now, boy!
Well, that was the reaction from injured Jesse Lingard, who watched from home as Wythenshawe's Marcus Rashford scored the stoppage time penalty.
Adam Barber, Global's Newsroom London.
Views say they've pulled Ratman's new film for safety reasons, not a biased view about the movie, which actually they think is fantastic. There was a big fight at a screening of Blue Story in Birmingham on Saturday, and the chain say they've had 25 significant issues across 16 of their cinemas in just 24 hours. Showcase have made the same call, but London's Mayor Sadiq Khan has told Capital Extra they should think again.
Work with the police, work with...
Becky Cahill, Hits Radio Manchester.
United are into the last 32 of the Europa League after beating Pots and Belgrade 3-0 at Old Trafford. And Manchester's celebrating 20 years of the Christmas markets as the city centre transforms for today's big opening. Stalls are spread all over town, including in Piccadilly Gardens for the first time. Now, if you're one of those people who just doesn't get why it's all so exciting, this lot can explain.
Just the Christmassy feel.
Katie Radley, Global's Newsroom Yorkshire and North East.
OK, so there are no witchetty grubs, no critters and no bush tucker trials. But there is potentially a lot of voting going on this week. And I'm sorry, no Anton Deck to lead you through it. Just me and this guy.
Hi there, I'm Pete Woodcock and I'm a lecturer at politics at the University of Huddersfield.
So, Pete, what happens after this vote on Theresa May's deal tonight?
As always, Kay, who's the runner-up?
The runner-up for IRN Newsreader of the Year with a TSA of more than 1.5 million is Victoria Glover from Hits Radio.
Let's go! Hits Radio.
The judges were very impressed with how Victoria dealt with the World Book Day story, relatable for parents across the UK. She demonstrated an impressive treatment of the Brexit story with a nice mixture of clever scripting and interesting audio. While the children's Vox at the start of the climate change section shows Victoria fully understands her target audience and knows how to grab the listener by the ear. She has a warm, engaging delivery and just the right amount of personality. IRN Newsreader with a TSA of over 1.5 million runner-up, Victoria Glover from Hits Radio. Now let's find out who the winner is of the 2020 IRN Newsreader of the Year with a TSA over 1.5 million.
The winner is... The girls are smashing this. Katie Radley from Global's Newsroom Yorkshire and North East.
This is Capital News.
The judges were extremely impressed with Katie's delivery, which was confident and relatable for her target audience. They enjoyed her handling of the Brexit story, bringing in an expert from a local university to explain the latest and mixing it creatively with clips from the House of Commons. Her use of audio from Deal or No Deal made another strand of the EU withdrawal story come alive. Her bulletin on the flooding in Yorkshire put you at the centre of developments. She has a great balance of authority and confidence alongside a flair for presentation. The IRN Newsreader of the Year with a TSA over 1.5 million. Katie Radley from Global's Newsroom Yorkshire and North East.
This next award recognises those reporters that go above and beyond their job titles in order to get the best stories. Here are the nominees for Reporter of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million.
Reporter of the Year in the under 1.5 million TSA. Joe Somerbell, Jack FM Oxfordshire.
So part of the fun of May morning, especially for students, is just trying to stay up all night for this. So there's a lot of kebabs being eaten right now and some people trying to have a nap on the floor by the tower. Some early risers have joined us here as well, though, and it's all celebrating the coming of spring. It's a tradition that's been running in Oxford for over 500 years. These people I met told me why they're here.
It's worth getting up early once.
Natasha Reid, West FM.
Standing outside the cottage, you don't immediately see the damage that the National Trust says will cost £100,000 to fix. But if you know where to look, it soon becomes clear. Up on the thatch roof, there's a layer of bright green moss, quite thick in places. Round towards the left-hand side, the corner of one of the walls is literally crumbling. And then as we head over to the other side now, it's a similar story. Big cracks in the walls, which again look rotten.
Ben Basin, Bower, Yorkshire.
Meanwhile, people started returning to their homes to assess the damage caused by the floodwater. John Duckett showed me around his bungalow in Fishlake.
We're just wading through more than ankle deep water.
It's been up to top of fridge near enough.
We're standing in the kitchen now. It's just covered in murky floodwater. There are things sort of floating in the murky water. Shoes, Crocs. We walked through to the living room. Cry.
Brian Rutherford, North Sound and MFR.
Sarah and Charlene, I know it's a very, very difficult time for you. The man who killed your brother in 1997 is now wanting freedom. It's the second time he's up for parole. How are you feeling at the moment about that, Sarah?
I'm very angry that he gets a chance of a life when my brother, who he murdered, who was 9 years old, is not here to have.
Alex Meakin, Jack FM Oxfordshire.
What do we want? Why do we want it?
Over 1,000 people took to the streets of Oxford today to demand action over climate change. There have been almost monthly protests in the city this year regarding the climate crisis, but none of those have been on this scale.
I think it's important and it's going to affect our lifetime more than the lifetime of the people who aren't doing anything. And we need to wake those people up.
I think it's great that there's so many people who are protesting.
And I'm going to say it again, Kay. Who is the runner-up?
The runner-up for IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million is Joe Somerbell from Jack FM.
Hey, it's Jack.
Joe sounds fresh, has a great voice and engages the listener from the start. Judges particularly liked her descriptive reporting and use of actuality in her packages, which helps bring the listener to the scene of the story. IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million runner-up, Joe Somerbell from Jack FM. Now let's find out who the winner is of the 2020 IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million.
The winner is Natasha Reid from West FM.
The biggest hits. The biggest throwbacks.
West FM.
Personality shines through from Natasha's reporting, a lovely natural broadcaster who displayed her superb skills with a wide range of stories covered. From interviewing emotional families to live reporting at the scene, Natasha is very capable of adapting her style to ensure she's getting the most from her contributors. This entry stood out in this category as a great example of how to tell stories that matter to your community. The IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million, Natasha Reid from West FM.
Come on, boys, let's see what you can do. Focusing now on the larger faction of the TSA, here are the nominees for Reporter of the Year with a TSA of more than 1.5 million.
Reporter of the Year in the over 1.5 million TSA. Charlotte Lynch, Global's newsroom Yorkshire and North East.
Well, the emergency service response here is absolutely huge. It's been ramped up now, as you've just said, Josh. 2,000 people in Doncaster now being told to evacuate their homes. They've been advised to leave some point tonight between now and midnight. And in front of me, there's dozens of fire officers. They're pulling people from their homes using lifeboats because their road is just totally submerged in waist-high water now. So I've seen them bringing in dozens of people on those lifeboats.
Helen Hodinott, Free Radio.
There are hundreds of messages in this chat sent over 4 hours, and Charlie stays silent as the girls send photos imitating her hands, which are affected by a condition she was born with. At one point, one girl says she can't stop laughing as she wonders if the abuse will make Charlie suicidal.
It's an easier way to contact someone because you have that screen behind you. There's no consequence.
Do you think those girls would have said the same stuff to you in real life?
No, definitely not. I just think the keyboard warrior.
Rachel Venables, LBC.
We have you on video admitting that you are a people smuggler. You are charging people thousands of pounds to put them in those boats to send them over to the UK. Why are you doing this?
I don't know. I'm no smuggler.
You're walking away now. You're walking out of the pizza place. Tell me why.
No problem.
Tell me why you are risking these people's lives.
No, I'm not.
Tell me why you are putting these people on boats.
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not.
You're going through... No, you're running now. You're running through the supermarket. Right, we're chasing after you, Farouk. He's sprinting through the supermarket now. We're chasing after him. Security's just stopped him.
Phil McDonald, Global's Newsroom Scotland.
Led by a lone piper, workers marched proudly out of the plant they've been fighting to save for the past 7 months. Tightly assembled behind a Rally Roon the Cali banner, they smiled, laughed and joked as friends and family members clapped and cheered them on. Without intervention from the Scottish Government, the Springburn Rail Depot will be no more.
It's an abdication of responsibility and a betrayal to our members.
Rosanna Robbins, Bower, Yorkshire.
So it's Sunday evening and I'm in Nottingham to meet a volunteer for Shout, the UK's first free 24/7 tech service for people in a crisis.
Hi, is it Gemma?
Gemma,
hello,
yeah.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
I'm
you.
Rosanna.
Hi. There's 1,400 volunteers all around the country. They're just normal people who give up a few hours a month to be there for strangers who are feeling scared or alone. My name's Gemma, I'm from Nottingham.
So, Kate, who is the runner-up?
The runner-up for IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of more than 1.5 million is Charlotte Lynch from Global's Newsroom Yorkshire and North East.
This is Heart.
Charlotte demonstrated a distinctive ability to produce compelling radio, placing real people at the centre of her reports. Her interview with a former inmate at Medhamsley Detention Centre was gripping, and her ability to produce both sensitive packages and deftly handle live breaking stories is a skill that will stand her in good stead as her career progresses. IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million runner-up, Charlotte Lynch from Global's Newsroom Yorkshire and North East. Now let's find out who the winner of the 2020 IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million is.
And the winner is Rachel Venables from LBC.
This is LBC.
Rachel's reporting is authoritative and sure-footed. She combines high-quality journalism with an enviable ability to seek out exclusives. Her trafficking and sex-for-rent doorsteps made compelling listening. These, combined with an ability to deliver strong live broadcasts on breaking stories, made Rachel stand out in a varied field of promising young talents. The IRN Reporter of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million, Rachel Venables from LBC.
Been a bit of a girls' night out so far, certainly exciting, but next up are the biggies. News Team of the Year. Let's start with the smaller stations with a TSA of under 1.5 million. Here are the nominees.
News Team of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million. Radio 4th News.
We revealed that there has been an 8% increase in the numbers seeking help for illnesses like anorexia. But when they do, we also found they face waiting up to 11 months for that help. So I took the findings to Scotland's Chief Medical Officer, Catherine Calderwood, and she says she'll work to make the journey to support better.
What we have across Scotland are different services which look different from each other, and what we would like to understand better is what exactly does that mean for an individual.
Mix 96 News.
We found out it was a boy. He didn't like the fact that there was another male in my body. If he saw the baby moving, he would punch me in the stomach and say, "Oh, he's taking over your body, it's my body." He tried to force me to have an abortion.
The fear of staying outgrew the fear of leaving because she thought he would kill her. She went to her health visitor for help, who got the police and social services involved, and she then also turned to Aylesbury's Women's Aid.
The Jack News Team.
The funeral procession began at just after 10:30 on High Street and was led by Thames Valley Police's mounted section. As in down the High Street, members of the public stopped to pay their respects at the barriers lined by hundreds of officers.
Well, as the mother of a serving Thames Valley police officer, I've just come to pay my respects to PC Andrew Harper. When your member of your family's in the police, you always worry that they're going to go out the door and something's going to happen to them.
It just broke my heart. I mean, I think everybody would have that reaction because you identify with something in your own life.
North Sound News.
He loved life, he loved his friends, he loved family life. Ended at age 27.
Audrey Wood says her son Stuart was cheated out of life on his way back to Aberdeen from a platform out at sea.
And instead of seeing my son, remembering him going to school, remembering him going to scouts, etc., when I close my eyes, instead of seeing my son, I now see a helicopter falling out the sky.
16 people plunged to their death, sparking a huge offshore search and rescue effort.
West FM News.
What we just witnessed there for the internal walls collapsing, that presents a big challenge to find a way forward for the existing building.
Local MP Bill Grant used to be a firefighter and is here to see the building people here hold close to their hearts. It had been derelict for several years, but its owner dreamed of turning it into a 5-star luxury resort. Chick Brodie lives in Ayr and remembers staying at the hotel years ago.
And this was the very first building I lived in when I came to Ayr. I had a room in the attic.
Kay, who's the runner-up?
The runner-up for News Team of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million is Radio 4th News.
This is 4th One.
An ambitious team who were equally at home live on location as they were creating compelling content in the studio. The team captured some memorable moments and reported on stories with panache. Stylish writing and some strong audio made for an informative and interesting entry. The News Team of the Year with a TSA under 1.5 million runner-up, Radio 4th News. Now let's find out who the winner of the 2020 IRN News Team of the Year with a TSA of under 1.5 million is.
And the winner is North Sound News.
The biggest hits.
The biggest throwbacks. North Sound 1.
An impressive range of stories from a team in tune with their audience. They demonstrated strong reporting, creative storytelling and powerful interviews that had impact. The judges recognised their ability to get to grips with campaigns, find people at the heart of stories and get into the community to deliver some brilliant journalism. News Team of the Year with a TSA under 1.5 million, North Sound News.
And now the award for News Team of the Year with a TSA of more than 1.5 million. Here are the nominees.
News Team of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million. Global's Newsroom Wales.
What are you looking forward to most on Christmas Day? Spending time with your loved ones? Maybe it's the Christmas dinner, or perhaps you'll be tuning in to the Queen's speech. Well, many of us up and down the country will have their eyes on Where I Am Now in Barry. That That's because after 9 years, the Gavin and Stacey gang are back together. James Corden and Ruth Jones have penned a one-off Christmas special.
Hits Radio News Team.
Our exclusive investigation found there have been more than 280 suicides and attempted suicides on bridges around Greater Manchester in the last year.
I'm heading to meet Lisa. Now, a year ago, she was in a really bad place and tried to take her own life. She stood on the edge of a railway bridge close to her house. But she didn't jump. She came down from the edge and she got help.
I'd say there's no triggers. But I was a little bit down. I was.
Global's Newsroom West.
The Scruples collapsed right where I am now. Poppy White works in a shop in front of me. She's told Heart 1 year later, life is back to normal.
It could have happened literally anywhere, and if it happened in London, people would have just moved on. But because it's a small town like Salisbury, everyone's just like, oh, but aren't you scared? No, none of us are scared.
Several months after the Scruples, 2 more people were also exposed to Novichok after finding some in a perfume bottle.
Radio City.
There's a big cardboard cutout of Jurgen Klopp as well. James Milner again, twirling that scarf above his head. He's absolutely loving this. We've got red balloons, red balls being thrown up in the air.
We've got an umbrella, we've got our armchairs, we've got flasks, we've got about 900 different types of biscuits. We've got our flags and we've got our red hearts here as well.
Do you want me to sing my song, my new song?
You can, yeah.
In my Liverpool home, in my Liverpool home.
Global's Newsroom, Yorkshire and North East.
I went out of my room and took a cable from the nearest lounge and went into the bathroom and was found just in time. And then later they took £14 out my purse for the cable to pay for it because they said it was ward property.
So after you tried, presumably, to take your own life, did the treatment change?
No, I tried to take my own life sometimes, like up to 12 times.
So, Kate, who is the runner-up?
The runner-up for News Team of the Year with a TSA of more than 1.5 million is Global Yorkshire and North East.
This is Heart.
Powerful journalism ran through Global Yorkshire's entry, which featured insightful and engaging treatments of important and sometimes difficult issues and haunting voices the listener really needed to hear. The team also demonstrated a clear commitment to breaking news on their patch, securing widespread coverage for their interview with the man who attacked Nigel Farage with a milkshake. The News Team of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million runner-up, Global Yorkshire and North East. Now let's find out who is the winner of the 2020 IRN News Team of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million.
The winner is Radio City.
Radio City.
Radio City's entry showed genuine presence from journalists fully embedded in their community. From the euphoric celebrations of Liverpool's Champions League parade to truly moving testimony from the mother of a young girl killed in a road accident, the team demonstrated their ability to produce atmospheric content filled with arresting voices, colour and emotion. The winner of the News Team of the Year with a TSA of over 1.5 million, Radio City.
Hard to believe, but we are at our final award of the evening, the prestigious IRN Gold Award. Let's hear more about this year's recipient.
The recipient of this year's Gold Award is a giant of our industry, a brilliant broadcaster who's consistently delivered record-breaking audiences, a man whose show has put commercial radio at the heart of the news agenda like never before.
From Tuesday, the 11th of February, LBC goes nationwide.
But isn't it smooth? Then you can glide. You hardly have to touch the pedals.
Nick, I hear the figures have gone up. Is that to do with this this weekly get-together?
They're calling it the Clegg effect.
I doubt that very much.
Imagine if we could do it with a politician who was popular.
Prime Minister, God forbid there were to be a second wave.
Indeed.
What would you do differently?
Really, thanks to the hard work of the British people, we are now very much through the worst.
Would you go on a 60-mile round trip to test your eyesight?
I have on occasions in the past,
driven with my wife in order to make sure that what's the right way of putting it?
I'm staggered. I don't know how you're going to get out of this one, but it's going to be fun.
No. I think people who know me would know that I'm not an authority on driving.
How much would it cost you to travel one way, Angel to London Bridge? £6.70.
That cannot possibly be right.
You'd be cheaper to get a cab.
Cash sink. Folks, who's drawn up this useless chart?
How many people are waiting to get on?
Well, I can see at least one chap
He
here.
works for you. So I'm now going to conduct this interview while wearing a spit hood, and I'm able to continue my duties, even read my documents while we talk.
Sure.
Why, if I was spitting at you now, why shouldn't your officers be protected?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nick Clegg and Nigel Farage.
This comes from Dave in Hackney. How did you feel when you saw the video played out of George Floyd? To remind you, of course, he was the man who was killed by American police.
Absolutely shocked, as I'm sure everybody was shocked.
We're looking at a total spend of 2.7 billion.
500,000 homes, 2.7. What are they made of? Plywood.
Taser, taser, taser. Hi, I'm chilling with my buddies here on Jackson Avenue in the South Bronx.
How much would 10,000 police officers cost?
About £80 million.
About £80 million?
Yeah.
So, what are these police officers going to be paid? Has this been thought through?
Of course it's been thought through.
The winner of the IRN Gold Awards 2020, LBC's breakfast host, Nick Ferrari.
Right, time to start the show. Gloves. Thanks very much indeed. Give me a mask. Yeah. Thanks very much indeed. Rundown. Yeah. Breakfast. Now we're good to... What? The IRN News Gold Award? Well, thank you so much, everybody, for voting for me. These are strange times to be receiving an award, but I know it's great that there are many, many class global acts that are on the list. So for me to actually receive one means a lot. Thank you so much.
Well, that's it. 13 awards presented to 13 worthy winners, and all in the comfort of your own home, office, living room, attic, basement, or wherever you're managing to find the peace and quiet to work and continue to deliver daily news to your listeners. Congratulations to all of the nominees, runners-up and winners, of course. Your trophies and certificates will be heading to you shortly, and we'd love you to send us some celebration videos when they arrive. Just send them to your usual contact at IRN or via the awards website. Thanks to our virtual voiceover, Howard Hughes, and the team that have put these online awards together. That's it for the first online IRN News Awards in association with Sky News. Goodbye from me, Kay Burley. Thank you. Good evening.
What an exciting evening tonight has been. A big thank you to our host, Kay Burley. Congratulations to all of the nominees, runners-up and winners, as well as everyone who entered. This marks the end to yet another exciting IRN News Awards in association with Sky News, and another incredible year for commercial radio news. So that's it from me, Howard Hughes. Thank you, congratulations, and have a great evening.